In a grand penthouse overlooking the city, a wealthy businessman named Mr. Caldwell sat arrogantly on his leather chair. He had just finished dictating a complex email filled with intricate jargon and idioms, smirking as he looked over at Maria, the maid who had worked for him for several months. "Maria," he said with a challenge in his voice, "translate this sentence into your language. If you get it right, I'll give you my entire monthly salary." Maria, calm and composed, took the paper he handed her and read the sentence carefully. It was full of idiomatic expressions and difficult phrases. Mr. Caldwell leaned back, certain she would fail. "Go ahead. Show me what you've got." Maria looked up, a quiet confidence in her eyes. She began to translate. Maria's fingers lightly traced the words on the page as she read the sentence again in her mind. It was indeed a tricky one, full of phrases that even native speakers sometimes stumbled over. But she wasn't just any maid, she was a woman who had studied languages in her free time, determined to improve her life beyond the confines of her job. She cleared her throat softly and began her translation. Her voice was steady and clear as she navigated the complex idioms and expressions, capturing not only the literal meaning but also the tone and nuance of the original message. Mr. Caldwell watched with growing disbelief. His smirk began to falter as Maria effortlessly unraveled the complicated sentence. She didn't just translate words, she translated the spirit of the message. When she finished, Maria looked directly at him and said, "There you go, sir. Your message, in your terms, delivered clearly and accurately." The room was silent for a moment. Mr. Caldwell blinked, clearly stunned. He had never expected her to succeed, let alone do so flawlessly. The power dynamic between them shifted ever so slightly. Maria was no longer just the maid, she was someone who had challenged his assumptions and won. Mr. Caldwell sat motionless for a few seconds, his mind racing. He glanced down at the paper in Maria's hands, then back at her face. I didn't expect that," he finally admitted, his voice lower and tinged with surprise. "How did you learn all this?" Maria smiled faintly, her eyes calm but proud. "I've always believed that knowledge is the key to opportunity. I may be your maid, but that doesn't mean I don't have ambitions or skills. I took every chance I had to study languages, practice, and improve myself." He shifted in his chair, feeling a strange mix of admiration and discomfort. "Most people in your position wouldn't even attempt this," he said, his tone less condescending than before. "And that's exactly why you were so sure I'd fail," Maria replied softly. "But underestimating someone based on their job or background can be a costly mistake." There was a pause as Mr. Caldwell digested her words. His usual arrogance was replaced by a grudging respect. "Well, the deal was that if you translated it correctly, you'd get my salary." Maria nodded, her expression steady. "And I expect to be paid fairly, as agreed." For a moment, the millionaire looked like he was considering backing out, but then he reached into his wallet and pulled out a thick envelope. "Here. You've earned it." Maria accepted the envelope, her hand steady. "Thank you, sir. But more than the money, I want you to understand that everyone deserves respect and recognition for their talents, no matter their role." He met her gaze, realizing that this moment was more than a challenge or a bet, it was a lesson in humility and human dignity. After handing Maria the envelope, Mr. Caldwell leaned forward, folding his hands on the polished wooden desk. His usual commanding presence softened, replaced by genuine curiosity. "Tell me, Maria," he began, "what made you want to learn this language so well? It's unusual for someone in your position to have such dedication." Maria paused for a moment, considering her words carefully. "I didn't want to be limited by circumstances," she said quietly. "Growing up, I saw people around me settle for less because they thought it was their only option. But I always believed that with knowledge and hard work, I could open doors to new possibilities." She looked out the large window, watching the city bustle beneath the penthouse. "My job here pays the bills, but it doesn't define me. I'm more than the tasks I perform." Mr. Caldwell nodded slowly, clearly impressed. You're right. Too often, people are judged by what they do rather than who they are or what they can become. The atmosphere in the room changed. What had started as a challenge now felt like an unexpected conversation about respect and opportunity. Maybe I've been too narrow-minded, he admitted. Your skills remind me that talent can be found in places we least expect. I could learn a lot from you. Maria smiled warmly. We all have something to teach and something to learn. I hope this moment changes how you see people around you, beyond titles or appearances. Mr. Caldwell looked at her with newfound respect. It already has. And if you're willing, perhaps there's more we can work on together, beyond translations. Maria's eyes sparkled with hope. I'd like that. The days that followed felt different for both Maria and Mr. Caldwell. The millionaire, known for his stern demeanor and fast judgments, found himself reconsidering many of his assumptions, not only about Maria but about the people around him in general. One afternoon, as Maria was organizing some documents in the office, Mr. Caldwell called her over. Maria, I've been thinking, he began, his tone more sincere than before. Your language skills are exceptional. Have you ever considered using them professionally? Maybe as a translator or an assistant? Maria looked surprised but pleased. I've thought about it, but I never believed someone like me would be given that chance. He smiled slightly. Well, I'd like to offer you an opportunity. I have some business partners overseas, and they often need someone who can bridge language and cultural gaps. If you're willing, I want you to help with these communications. Maria felt a swell of gratitude but kept her composure. Thank you, sir. I'd be honored. As they worked together on these new tasks, Mr. Caldwell discovered Maria's sharp insights and keen intuition went far beyond just translating words. She offered cultural context, spotted nuances he might have missed, and even suggested improvements to his proposals that made the deals smoother. Their professional relationship began to evolve into something more collaborative. Maria's confidence grew, and Mr. Caldwell's respect deepened. One evening, as they wrapped up a particularly challenging negotiation, Mr. Caldwell said thoughtfully, "You've taught me more than you realize, Maria. Not just about language, but about humility, patience, and seeing potential where I hadn't looked before." Maria smiled softly. We all have stories and talents. Sometimes, it just takes one person to believe in us. He nodded. Consider this a new beginning. For both of us. Weeks turned into months, and the dynamic between Maria and Mr. Caldwell transformed into a genuine partnership. Maria's role expanded beyond translating emails, she became an essential part of his international business dealings. Her insights opened doors to new markets and forged stronger relationships with foreign clients. One rainy afternoon, as Maria was preparing a presentation for a major overseas meeting, Mr. Caldwell stopped by her desk. "Maria," he said, "I want to take a moment to acknowledge how much you've changed this company's outlook. You've shown what dedication and intelligence can achieve, regardless of where someone starts." Maria looked up, touched by his words but maintaining her usual modesty. "Thank you, sir. I believe everyone deserves the chance to prove their potential." He nodded, then added, "You know, when I first challenged you to translate that sentence, I thought it was just a game, a way to assert my superiority. But you showed me it was a lesson in humility and respect." Maria smiled softly. Sometimes, the greatest lessons come from the most unexpected challenges. Later that day, after the presentation was a resounding success, Mr. Caldwell invited Maria to his office. The city lights flickered through the large windows as he handed her a sealed envelope. "This is an official offer," he said. "A full-time position as my personal assistant and translator, with a salary that reflects your true worth." Maria's eyes widened in disbelief. I don't know what to say." "Say you accept," he replied with a warm smile. "Because you've earned every bit of it." Tears welled up in Maria's eyes, not from sadness, but from the overwhelming pride and gratitude she felt. This moment was not just about a job or money, it was a testament to her perseverance, her belief in herself, and the breaking down of invisible barriers. As she shook his hand, Maria knew this was the beginning of a new chapter, a story of respect, opportunity, and the power of never underestimating anyone. In the weeks that followed, Maria settled into her new role with grace and determination. The transition was not without challenges. She had to prove herself in meetings with seasoned executives, navigate complex business negotiations, and constantly stay sharp. But Maria thrived, her passion and work ethic inspiring those around her. Mr. Caldwell often found himself reflecting on how much his perspective had changed. The woman he once saw only as a maid had become one of the most valuable members of his team, and, more importantly, a trusted friend. One evening, as the office emptied and the city skyline shimmered in the twilight, Mr. Caldwell approached Maria's desk. "Maria," he said, "I want to thank you, not just for your work, but for reminding me that talent and worth cannot be measured by titles or appearances." Maria looked up, her eyes shining. "Thank you, sir. For giving me a chance when others might not have." He smiled warmly. "You didn't just translate words, you translated the way I see the world." She laughed softly. "Then I guess this challenge was worth much more than a paycheck." Their story became a quiet inspiration to many in the company, proof that respect, opportunity, and belief in others could transform lives and break down walls built by prejudice and assumptions. Maria's journey wasn't just about earning a salary, it was about reclaiming her dignity, proving her worth, and opening the door for countless others to do the same. And as the city lights twinkled beneath them, both knew this was only the beginning of a story far greater than either had imagined. With Maria now firmly established in her new role, the company culture began to shift in subtle but meaningful ways. Employees who once viewed Maria simply as the maid started to see her as a symbol of perseverance, intelligence, and the power of self-belief. Her story quietly circulated through the office halls, inspiring conversations about fairness, opportunity, and breaking down outdated stereotypes. Maria herself took this responsibility seriously. She began volunteering to mentor new hires who felt overlooked or underestimated. She shared her journey openly, encouraging others to pursue education and skills beyond their current circumstances. One day, during a company-wide meeting, Mr. Caldwell surprised everyone by acknowledging Maria's contributions publicly. "Maria has not only helped grow our business internationally," he said, "but has also reminded us all about the value of respect, kindness, and seeing potential where we might not expect it." Applause filled the room, and Maria felt a warmth she had never experienced before, not just from recognition, but from genuine acceptance. Outside the office, Maria continued her personal growth, enrolling in advanced language courses and business studies. She dreamed bigger than ever before, motivated by the belief that the only limits that truly exist are the ones we accept. Mr. Caldwell, for his part, transformed into a more empathetic leader. He implemented new programs promoting diversity and professional development, determined that no one in his company would be judged by the box they fit into, but by the value they bring. Their unlikely partnership became a catalyst for change, proving that courage, respect, and belief in others can rewrite stories, one person at a time. As the months unfolded, Maria's influence within the company, and beyond, continued to grow. She became a quiet force of change, showing others that perseverance and self-education could break through barriers that once seemed impenetrable. Her story reached local community groups and inspired workshops focused on empowering individuals from all walks of life. Invitations arrived for her to speak about her journey, and though initially hesitant, Maria embraced the role of mentor and advocate. One afternoon, after returning from a successful speaking engagement, Maria found Mr. Caldwell waiting in the lobby. His expression was thoughtful. "I've been thinking a lot about the future," he said. "Our company is thriving, but I want it to be a place where everyone feels valued and can grow, regardless of their background. Your journey has opened my eyes to how much untapped potential there is." Maria nodded. "Change takes time, but every step matters. If more people believe in the possibility of growth, the world becomes a better place." He smiled, extending his hand. "Thank you, Maria, for challenging me and for becoming an indispensable part of this company, and my life." Their handshake was more than a formal gesture, it was a symbol of mutual respect and the power of breaking down preconceived notions. As Maria looked out at the bustling city from the company's rooftop, she felt a profound sense of accomplishment, not just for herself, but for all those who might now see a path forward where once there was none. Her journey was a testament to courage, determination, and the belief that every person, no matter their beginning, deserves a chance to shine. The day Maria officially accepted her new position marked not just a professional milestone, but a personal victory over years of quiet struggle and determination. The company held a small gathering to celebrate her transition, attended by colleagues from all departments, some familiar faces, others new. Mr. Caldwell took to the podium first. His usual commanding voice carried warmth and sincerity. "Today, we recognize not just a talented professional, but a remarkable individual whose journey reminds us all of the power of perseverance and respect." Maria stood beside him, humble yet radiant, feeling the eyes of her peers filled with genuine admiration. For years, she had worked tirelessly, often behind the scenes, but today her story was front and center. After the ceremony, as the crowd dispersed, Maria found herself surrounded by people eager to congratulate her. A junior employee approached and said, "Maria, your story inspired me to enroll in language classes. Thank you for showing us what's possible." She smiled, a wave of gratitude swelling in her chest. "Keep pushing forward. Your potential is limitless." Later that evening, Maria and Mr. Caldwell shared a quiet moment in the office, overlooking the city lights. "I want to thank you again," Maria said softly. "Not just for the job, but for seeing me." He nodded, his expression thoughtful. "You taught me more about leadership and humanity than any business deal ever could." Their partnership symbolized a shift, not just in roles or salaries, but in attitudes and opportunities. Maria's journey was proof that barriers could be broken, assumptions challenged, and respect earned through talent and perseverance. As the night deepened, both understood this was more than a single story, it was a beacon for anyone who had ever been underestimated, a reminder that true worth lies in courage, learning, and believing in oneself. And so, Maria's story continued, not just as a maid who won a bet, but as a symbol of transformation, hope, and the endless possibilities that come when respect and opportunity meet. As Maria's story spread beyond the walls of the penthouse and the corporate offices, it began to ripple through the community. Local newspapers featured her journey, highlighting not just her linguistic skill but her unwavering spirit and determination to rise above limitations imposed by circumstance. Inspired by her example, community centers and educational organizations launched initiatives aimed at providing language and vocational training to individuals eager to improve their lives but unsure where to begin. Maria found herself invited to participate in panels and workshops, often sharing her insights on perseverance, continuous learning, and the importance of self-belief. She spoke candidly about the initial doubts she faced and how those moments became fuel for her growth. Back at the company, Mr. Caldwell continued to champion diversity and inclusion. He introduced mentorship programs and encouraged managers to recognize talents beyond resumes or titles. The workplace atmosphere grew more supportive and collaborative, setting a new standard for corporate culture. One afternoon, Maria and Mr. Caldwell sat together reviewing applications for an internship program aimed at young adults from underrepresented backgrounds. "Look at these," Maria said, flipping through the files. "So many talented people just waiting for a chance." Mr. Caldwell nodded. "And now, thanks to you, we're creating that chance." Maria smiled, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. Her journey had come full circle, not only had she transformed her own life, but she was now helping to open doors for others. As the sun set over the city skyline, casting a golden glow through the office windows, Maria reflected on the road that had brought her here. It had been paved with challenges, resilience, and moments of quiet courage. She knew this was only the beginning of a greater story, one where opportunity, respect, and belief in potential would continue to change lives, one step at a time. Months passed, and Maria's impact continued to expand far beyond her initial role. She became a symbol of change, not just within the company but throughout the wider community. Her story sparked conversations about equality, respect, and the importance of giving everyone a chance to prove their worth, regardless of their starting point. She collaborated with local organizations to develop scholarship programs and language courses designed to empower those who, like her, had once felt invisible or underestimated. One crisp morning, Maria stood before a crowded auditorium, ready to address a group of young adults eager to learn. She spoke with passion and sincerity. "Your background doesn't define your future," she told them. "What defines you is your courage to learn, your dedication to grow, and your belief in yourself. Every opportunity is a chance to rewrite your story." Her words resonated deeply, sparking hope and determination in the faces before her. Meanwhile, Mr. Caldwell had transformed as well. Once a man confident in his privilege and power, he had become a leader committed to fostering inclusion, humility, and empowerment within his business and beyond. Their partnership, born from a simple challenge, had blossomed into a movement, a living testament to the fact that respect and opportunity have the power to change lives. As Maria looked out over the city from the same penthouse where her journey had begun, she felt a profound sense of gratitude. The path had not been easy, but it had been worth every step. Because sometimes, the bravest thing we can do is believe in ourselves, and in doing so, inspire others to do the same. And that, she knew, was the true measure of success. The challenge that had begun as a simple bet between Maria and Mr. Caldwell had transformed into something far greater than either of them could have imagined. It was no longer about a paycheck or a translation, it was about dignity, respect, and the power of seeing people for who they truly are. Maria's journey from maid to trusted partner was a testament to the idea that potential is not defined by circumstance but by determination and opportunity. Her story inspired countless others to pursue their dreams, break down barriers, and challenge assumptions. Mr. Caldwell, once blinded by his own biases, became an advocate for change, recognizing that true leadership comes from listening, learning, and lifting others up. Together, they showed that when respect replaces judgment, and opportunity replaces doubt, amazing transformations are possible. As Maria stood by the window of the penthouse, gazing out at the city lights, she smiled. This was more than a victory, it was a new beginning, not just for her, but for everyone willing to believe in themselves. Because in the end, the greatest salary is not money, but respect, dignity, and the chance to rewrite your own story.